Alright, welcome back here. Right now, my video game opens up. I start to play it. I can jump. If I hit that car, I crash. If I hit the stars, I can collect them, and it says you win. So today, I think we'll do some tweaking on just a couple of audio things, some sound effects, and I think we're going to add a new feature. So again, you can add whatever feature you want on your game, but I have an idea of adding raindrops coming down from the cloud, and if it hits your car, it changes you. And I think we're gonna do it, or at least I'm gonna do it, so it changes the size of you. But it could do anything. It could make it be game over. It could make it so you can jump higher or jump lower, or go backwards, or anything. So, but the size is a very simple one to change here in Scratch, so I'm going to use that one for an example. So the first thing, actually, when I play the game, right here, I wanted to actually say Atkins game. I've done that on most of my other games, and so I'm actually going to go to the game logo, and what I did beforehand was I actually did a recording. So I went here, I pressed record, and I actually recorded. Now I'm not doing it now because I'm actually recording this video, so I can't do them both at the same time. At least I haven't in the past. So it just says
Atkins Games.
So I'm just going to put that recording in when the logo happens. So where would I do that? I'd go to my code, and I'll notice in this code, this is for the Atkins logo code, that I'm using the ghost effect, which you can see here. It starts, I set it to 100. That means that you can't see it, and then it slowly decreases the ghost effect, meaning that I can slowly see it. So at some point here, I want to actually have it say Atkins Games, but it doesn't. It's not really an obvious place. Like if I put it at the very end, which I can do that. So I'm going to start the sound recording. You'll see how it happens.
Atkins Games.
So it already has switched to the next screen, and now it's playing that, and that's not what I want. So probably the easiest way to do this is to time it. When the green flag is clicked, we're going to wait 1 second. Probably I'm going to want to wait less than that, but let's just see.
Games.
Yeah, wasn't that great. I also noticed that the volume of this is really low compared to the car. So let's see if I can place it at a nicer time.
Atkins Games.
Yeah, I wonder even earlier than that.
Atkins Games.
Kind of like that.
Atkins Games.
Nothing's sounding quite ideal. Now the sound of the driver going by, it's in here, engine start, and so it's going to be at 100 volume. If you go to sound, you can actually control the volume. You can set it by default. It sets to 100. So if I did this, it shouldn't change anything.
Games.
Yeah, I don't think that changed anything.
Atkins Games.
Actually, I don't mind that though, the way that's set up. Anyway, I don't need the.
Atkins.
It's only if I want to make it quieter. Like if I want to change that to 50%, and then I put that before I played this, then it'll be quieter, which is not what I want anyway. So we'll leave it like that. The other thing I usually have is this other note in there, but now it might just be too much. But let me choose a sound, and I usually go for the E bass. Let me just find it here. I usually go for this one. So I have that there. let's I think what I'll do is I'll duplicate this, and instead of sound recording, or instead of playing the sound recording, I'll play the E bass, and I usually have it coincide with the games part of it, so that might be, let's say 0.5. Let's just see.
Atkins
Nope, clearly not. Let's go all the way to 1 second delay.
Atkins
Yeah, so let's I'm gonna take this out of there just for a second.
Atkins Games. Atkins Games.
So it's happening too soon still. I go 1.5. Oh my goodness. Okay, if this ever happens to you, it says project could not save, try again. You can sit here and try again a bunch of times. It's as though I am not having good internet connection. And so if this happens to you, especially if you've done a lot of work and tweaking with it, what you can do actually is download it. Okay, it probably won't allow you to do, oh no, I can still work on it, I guess. But at some point, yeah, it's just not connecting. At some point it might reconnect, but ultimately you're going to want to download it. Now what does that do? That actually downloads the file, the .sb3 file, to your computer. And right now it's in my downloads. I could move that to another folder that I choose. And then I can actually later on go to File and load from my computer. And so this doesn't usually happen to me, but once in a while it does. And so right now I'm going to actually just leave it and see how much of this I can continue to do. If it's restricting my functionality of like coding here, then I am going to I'll download and refresh the page and everything and see if we can get a better connection. But first I just want to finish this little bit here. Oh, but now I can't click the green flag. Yes. What if I did that? There we go. Alright, so
Atkins Games.
okay, it's just a little bit too late now. 1.3 is probably where I want it.
Atkins Games.
Perfect.
Atkins Games.
Now if I go back into the driver and I reconnect this bit of code,
Atkins Games.
yeah, it's almost like it's too much. I'm going to leave it for now, but
Atkins Games.
that's okay. It's almost nicer without that driver. Actually, I could make this sound maybe a little bit quieter. So I'm going to change the volume here. I'll set the volume. Let's go to 50%. And then afterwards, when we're doing these sounds, I want it to be back to I want it to be, so after I broadcast, I think I'll just set it back to 100%, the volume.
Atkins Games.
Oh, it didn't seem to make much difference there. Let's go down to 10.
Atkins Games.
Yeah, makes a bit of a difference. Okay, so I'm going to now download this again. Okay, it's right there. And then I'm going to refresh this page. Okay, now let's see.
Atkins Games.
Yeah, so you can hear that the E-bass part is gone, so that means this project is not the most recent one. So now I go to File, Load from my computer. Now yeah, it's going to go through all this. I'm going to go to Downloads, and this one here. Open that. And now, if I play,
Atkins Games.
yeah, it's got the whole thing. Now over here, it's saying join class, scratch and sign in. So maybe it logged me out. I didn't even notice that if it did that before. But I'm going to log back in. Okay. Now let's see if this is the one.
Atkins Games.
Good, it's got it. So it's saved. So now if I go to my folder, I wonder if I have two of them. I do have two of them. One's Untitled, and one's the Platform Racer. So let's just go back again. I think I was at the Untitled one. Yeah, Untitled 12. So I'm going to call this one Platform Racer 2, meaning it's the newer version of it. Okay, it's got the sound in. Yeah, so that's a very annoying thing when it disconnects you, but at least you shouldn't lose all your work if you can record, or if you can save it. Okay, let's move on. So I like that now. The Platform Racer comes up. I press the play button, and it goes right into the game. And I'm fast enough, I can jump up and everything. Now in this game, there's a couple things. When I lose here, you'll notice that my character still is smiling, and I would like to change that. And also I have something for that driver to say. And so I'm going to, well, I guess I am in that driver right now. And so under sounds, I actually did another recording.
Oh no.
So it just says, oh no. I'm not sure if I love that one, but anyway, we're going to use that for now. And we're also going to change the costume. I want this character to frown. So if I go to costumes, you'll notice that we have all these costumes. And the way we're doing our code, I think, is we're just cycling through the costumes. So if I added a new costume that frowned, I'd actually have to do a lot of work. So let me just see. I'm going to move my person over there so I can see what's going on. There should be code that just says next costume. Oh, there it is. So this just forever cycles through the costumes, which is fine, except that at the end I'd really like it to be frowning. And so I'll spend a little bit of time just showing how to do this. So let's make the next costume. I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to right click on it, press duplicate, and then this should be a vector, so I should be fairly easy to manipulate. So if I click on it, I could almost just turn it upside down, but first I want to zoom in. It's going to be hard to... Okay, so now I have this one here. I could make it bigger and smaller, but what I really want to do, if you click on this one, I can't remember what it's called. Oh, reshape, that's what it's called. I'm going to click on, and all these little nodes here I can change to make it a frown. Now, just a note here, there's so many nodes here, it might actually be much more easier just to draw it, but we'll see. Oh, I can make them like that. Okay, I'm going to undo that one. I think I will just delete it and put in a new. Now here you can see it's going to be very large. Well, that actually could be good, just like that. Good. Alright, that was easy. So, now I have this one. But the problem is, if I just keep the code the same way I have it, as it cycles through here, I don't know if you can see there, it's going to look like he's saying oh no once in a while, you know, every fifth rotation. So I don't want that. I can't simply just keep this code the same. So I'll just stop that. Zoom in a bit so you can see what I'm doing. And so we're going to do an if statement here. And this forever loop too, I think we're going to change. So I'll throw that out. And everything's stopping. It's really lagging here. Okay, so we're going to repeat until. And we'll repeat until, let's say, until the stage turns to this backdrop, which is, I think, number 5. Just click on it here. Okay, the fourth one. The fourth one is game over. So we're going to go until the backdrop is equal to 4. Because if you win, you want to still be happy. So let's go back to the driver, the code. Okay, so repeat until, go under sensing, then you can find where the backdrop of the stage and where that is equal to 4. So we repeat this bit of code here. Repeat. Well, you can see that. I know I have that other piece there, but and actually, yeah. Anyway, repeat until the backdrop of the stage is equal to 4. So what am I going to repeat? Almost next costume, but I got to put an if statement in here, and I think I want an if-else statement. So if, and just to remind you, I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's the 4 different rotation of the wheel sprites. So, and it starts at 1, ends at 4. So we're going to, if I need to get costume, where's our costume here? Yeah, if costume number, and I need an operator, and I'm going to say if costume number, I guess if it's less than 5. If it's less than 5, meaning it's 1, 2, 3, or 4, then I want it to say next costume. That's not completely true. If it's a less than 4, meaning it's 1, 2, or 3, then I want it to just go next costume and wait. Otherwise, if it's 4, I actually don't want it to go to the next costume because the next costume would be 5. So if it is 4, then I want it to actually go to the first costume. And I'm going to say switch costume to, I guess it's convertible 1. So that's the name of it here, convertible 1. Alright. So now, what does this do? Okay, let me move this over here so we can look at it. Okay, so what this does is, after it goes to the location it shows, it keeps on going from 1 to 3. If it's 1 to 3, it's just going to go next costume. But if it hits 4, it's going to go back to 1. And so it's never going to have a chance to go to 5. That's the idea anyway. So let's take a look and see if that works.
Atkins Games.
Does not look like it's working. Let's just see. Oh yeah, it is working. Now, I noticed at the start of the game it's not working. So the reason behind that is there's another piece of code that specifically, this is when I receive level 1, but there must be one when I receive, when I receive, oh yeah, here it is. When I receive the green flag, or when the green flag is clicked. So you can see that it's just going through all the next costumes 25 times. Well, and I want it to repeat like that, but let's have it so this little bit of code here, let's duplicate that, and let's replace this with this, and that will prevent it again from going to this. So I'll see that again. Yeah, that's looking good. Okay, now here's the deal. At the end of this, we want it to actually, when it hits game over, then we're going to switch. The very bottom here, we're going to switch to 4-2, and that's the one where he looks all surprised. So let's play this game now. When we crash, he should switch to this. Now, why is he not? Is it because I've stopped all the programs? That could be. Where did I end all the... I know it's somewhere here where I've said stop all sprites, broadcast start menu. Yeah, stop other scripts in this sprite. So instead of making this really complicated, I am going to, oh that, yeah, so that's when the backdrop equals 4. So I'm gonna I'm going to change costume up there, and that should be fine.
Atkins Games.
Perfect. Okay. So now the last thing I want to show you is an upgrade, and again, I'm going to create a new sprite, a raindrop. So let me. Okay, and let's see if there is a raindrop. What if I called it rain? Nope, just rainbows. So how about just drop? No. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is just going to go back, and I'm going to draw one. And so I should be able to just draw a raindrop. I think they kind of look like this. That's a very large raindrop. Let's try again. I'm just going to draw it to the side here. Okay, that's a good enough raindrop for me. Although I don't like the how thick it is here, that border. So I'm going to bring that down to maybe 2. That's maybe too thin. Yeah. Okay, let's bring it up to 5. How about? I'm having a lot of trouble drawing this, but I feel like I can draw a raindrop really well with a pen and paper, but not on here. I'm just going to be okay with the next one that I draw. But it needs to close. Okay, there we go. That's good enough. Okay. And I'm going to paint the inside of this. As long as you make an enclosure, you should be able to paint in the vector mode. And I would like to get blue in here. Something like that. Okay. So this is a raindrop here. Certainly I could go back and make it look much better. I'd suggest to take it and put it right in the middle. Like that. I think you'll just have easier to code everything. Not a big deal if you don't. So at the start of the level, when it's clicked, we want to hide this thing. Okay. And then we actually only want it to occur once, excuse me, once in a while when the cloud's there. So when I receive, let's go to events again. When I receive level 1, we'll just let this raindrop kind of randomly generate. We are going to say wait, and let's wait a random amount of time. So go to operations, pick out a random, and let's go between 1 and 3 for now. So it's going to wait a certain amount of time, and then it's going to go to, so go to motion, and it's going to go to, instead of random position, it's going to go to the cloud. And so wherever the cloud and the raindrop are lined up, and actually let's just see what it looks like when it goes to the cloud, and then we'll figure out how to make it drop to the ground and everything. Okay, so if I click this, there it goes. So it's going to appear right in the middle like that. And what I'd actually like to do is have it actually drop from below the cloud. So actually we can go and change its Y by, that looks like a drop of about 30. So drop it down to about -30. Let's just see how that looks here. So if I click here, yeah, let's go -50. I was wrong with 30. Yeah, so something like that. Actually, -40. Something like that. Now, hopefully, we'll set it up so that it's underneath. Actually, let's go -30. Okay, so it's just not showing. We're gonna have it so that it's behind the cloud. Right now it's in front of the cloud, just which is okay. We can see it now, but we'll put it behind the cloud, and we want it just to drop down. And so how do we do that? We are going to tell it to change the y by a negative, I don't know, -5, and we'll do that until. So repeat until it goes beyond a certain point. So until the y position is less than well, let's see. We want it to go down to about here. So you can see the y position, or maybe you can't see, but it's -142. So I'm going to say until it's less than -1, I could say 42, but I'm just going to round it to 150. Okay. Alright. And then once it gets beyond there, if it hasn't hit anything, we want it just to hide again. Okay. And then wait a random amount of time, and we want it to basically do this forever, but maybe not quite forever. Repeat until let's go until the backdrop of the stage is equal to, actually we're going to say not equal to. So I think the backdrop stage is 3 during level 1, it should be. And so you can see here. So I can say repeat until the backdrop is not equal to 3, because I don't want it to rain. When you win, it doesn't need to rain. When it's game over, you don't need to rain. So if you look at your backdrop, whatever your level 1 is, for me it's the 3rd one. Okay. So let's go back to the drop. Now the problem is this might run really quickly, and so actually this may, I've seen it in the past where it glitches out. So we're going to give it a second to get used to level 1, and then we're going to tell it to basically do this until you're out of level 1. Okay. So if I run the game.
Atkins Games.
Oh. Yeah, there you go. There you see it. It dropped 1. Now the other thing, no, I think it's okay just to drop there. Okay. I just want to see if it works continuous, so I gotta not crash right away. Okay. Save a drop. Now here's something I'm noticing, that the way it drops, it doesn't look like it's following the cloud. So like it looks like it's being pushed in the wind. So we might want to also change the x by a value. So let me and this you can play around with until you find what you like there. And so we'll make it go the other way. So we'll make it go -5. That's not where I wanted to put it though. I'll have to put that in there. So when it changes the y, we can change the x as well. And so that should maybe have a nicer look to it. Okay. Yeah, that's a little nicer. I don't know why I'm falling into the ground here. Yeah, that's nicer. It probably doesn't have to be quite that fast though. Maybe it should be the same speed as the cloud, which I need to find out how fast that thing's going. Oh, -2. So let's change this so that it's also -2. That might look nicer. Okay. The very last thing I want to show you is when it touches the car, I want it to make it hide and make the size of this. So make the size of the car actually shrink for just a moment. So how do we do that? We are going to, I think we should put it in here. Excuse me. If let's go to touching. Yeah. So if the drop is touching the driver, we'll put that in here. Then we want to make the drop disappear, and then we want to broadcast. And what we're going to broadcast here is a new message, and this new message I think we should just call shrink car. Okay, and we're going to go to the driver code, and in here I'm going to put in a new piece of code. When I receive, maybe I'll zoom in a little bit here. When I receive shrink car, there it is. Then what we want to do is actually go to looks, and we want to set our, yeah, now what if you got, I could do set size, but it might be nice to have it if you get multiple drops. So maybe I'll go change size by -10, so this will change it by -10%. That's probably not enough to notice. -20%, let's do. Actually, let's get dramatic, -50. And then we should wait a few seconds. So that'd be control, under wait. Let's wait 2 seconds, and then we want to change. Actually, let's just do 1 second for now. And then we want to change it back. So, change size by 50. Now you can play around with this. You could have it change by -10, and then go back up to 10, and then have more raindrops, and then it could be more interesting as you. But let's see how this works. Okay. So you can see now I'm very small, but only for a second there. And there. So every time I get hit by a coin or by a raindrop, I can get smaller. Alright, very entertaining. So play around with that, and maybe you want it to rain more. You can have lightning strike. You can do whatever you like in your game, but just showing you how you can create a more engaging game. We'll see you next time.